Ullasa Pallavita Palita Saptaloki Nirvaha Korakitanema Kataksha Leelam Sriranga Harmyatala Mangaladi Parekham Sri Rangaraja Mahishim Shriyam Ashrayamaha. This Sanskrit verse exemplifies the importance of Goddess Mahalakshmi. It speaks about how important is the consort of the Lord. At the same time, it reminds us that she is the mother of this entire universe. While we were witnessing this beautiful scene of how Ram strung the bow of Shiva and by mistake it broke, and the sound which reverberated in the entire world stunned people. While Sita came forth with a garland, Ram said, "Hey Janak Maharaj, this incarnation of mine is instituted to obey and follow the words of my father, which is Pitruvakya Paripalanam. So, in this incarnation, if there has to be a marriage of mine, it should be under the guidance and blessings of my father. Hey Janak Maharaj, it is the right time for you to send an invitation to my father, the citizens of Ayodhya, the revered mothers of mine, so that they may arrive at this beautiful city of yours called as Janakpuri and see me married with Sita." Likewise, Janak sent an invitation to Dasharath, who informed this great news to his Pattamahishis, to his wives. They were all the more happy to hear that Ram is getting married to Sita. So is Lakshmana with Urmila, Bharat with Mandavi, and Shatrughna with Shrutakirti. They all marched towards this beautiful city of Janakpuri in Nepal. While they all arrived, the pinnacle of hospitality was seen amidst the great crowd and ministers of Janak. They all were made to stay in great mansions, and the next day was the marriage. On the day of marriage, Janak, the father of Sita, held his daughter by his hand and said, "Hey Sita, you need to walk towards this mantap where your vivaham, where your marriage is scheduled to happen." She walked with the gait of a swan, and she marched towards this beautiful mantap of her marriage. Janak took the hand of Ram and said, "Hey Ram, now before the witness of Agni," because in any ceremony of Sanatana Dharma, it is observed that Agni is made the witness to all these rituals. He is regarded as a Sakshi. That is why people often say Agni Sakshi. Agni is the witness. Like how we speak of registrars, register offices, those days or even today, people who adhere to the practices of Sanatana Dharma regard Agni as one of the major witnesses. He is also regarded as a messenger, the person who carries the message of the Karta to the Lord. That is why whenever a yajna or havan is performed, there is a part of it called as Purnahuti, where ultimately the person who is performing seeks the blessings of the deity whom he is performing to. As a sign of reverence and gratitude, he submits the best of the objects that he can offer to the Lord. Who's going to carry it to the Lord is a question. To answer this particular question is the presence of Agni, fire. He carries this to the deity. He may not carry the same set of dry fruits, be the raisins, be the cashew nuts, be the walnut, be the apricot, be the pista. He may not carry the same in the same form and the same quantity, but whatever fruit has been instituted for that particular offering is being carried to the deity by Agni. All the more, when we speak about the commonality in religions, we should remember that Parsi religion has a lot of commonalities with Sanatana Dharma. One such is fire. They go to the fire temple. They regard fire as the absolute, like how we regard fire important and one of the 5 major elements or Panchabhutas. It is believed that in Parsi religion, there are only 3 people who can walk close to the fire in the temple. It's the priest, the cow and the calf. Even in the Hindu temples, the priest can walk towards the idol of the Lord. The calf and the cow can only walk towards the idol of the Lord, and everybody else has to stand 2 steps away. So when we speak about the commonalities of religion, we should understand that Sanatana Dharma's practices have been regarded by so many other religions. Either they borrowed the practices from Sanatana Dharma, or their practices and our practices see the same objective. Now getting back to the point, Janak held his daughter Sita by his hand, showed Sita to Ram, and looked at the fire and said, Tatas Sita samaniya sarvabharana bhushitam samakshamagne samsthapya raghavaya mahatmane. Before the great person Raghav, who came in the Raghukul, that is Ram, Janak said, Hey Agni, I am placing my daughter right before you. People in the past, our preceptors, our predecessors, have studied these lines of Ramayana in great detail and have come with commentaries of impeccable beauty and unsurpassed devotion in their own right. They have said, if I have to quote a certain person, there was one revered person called as Anantarama Dikshit. He belonged to a village in the south called as Sengalipuram. So he says, Tatas Sita samaniya sarvabharana bhushitam. Sita was adorned with the best of the jewelry. Samaksham agnehe samsthapya. She was placed before the Havan which had Agni. Now, why did Janak have to look at the Agni and look at Sita? It seems Janak said, Hey Agni, you know how resplendent my daughter is. What a personification of purity she is. Now, I as a father would like to submit my daughter towards Ram, who is yet another great soul. It may so happen in the future. Look at the prophecy that comes out of the words of Janak, because he was a very learned person. He could foretell, he could see the future. He says, it could happen so in the future that while I am the father who's not there, my daughter will face a hurdle at that particular point of time to get her reunited with Ram, who's now going to be her husband. To get her reunited with her husband, it is you, Agni, who has to play the role of the father. I may not be there. I may not be there to play the role of the father, but you, Agni, you will have to play the role of the father at that particular nick of time. What did he remind Agni of? Now, we are in the first canto called Balakand, followed by there is Ayodhya Kand, Aranya Kand, Kishkinda Kand, Sundar Kand, Yuddha Kand and Uttar Kand. In Yuddha Kand, when Ram, along with the army of the monkeys, marches towards the island of Ravan called as Lanka, he kills the evil and the demoniac forces and marches back. While he does so, he comes in Pushpak Viman. Even before they could get inside the Pushpak Viman, there is a particular incident which has caused a great uproar in the entire world, especially in the world of women. Probably if there is an opportunity where I could share the experiences and the truth, whatever lies in Valmiki Ramayana about Yuddha Kand and the particular incident I am going to talk about, probably that will add more light and color to the understanding of people about this great epic. There in Yuddha Kand, Ram acts as if he wants to test Sita. So as a test in those days, people used to walk in fire. Quite surprising. Even to think about fire is such a nightmare for us, and walking inside fire will be close next to impossible. Well, people used to do of it. Probably they were so truthful and honest, they felt that fire wouldn't burn them. However honest I am, I wouldn't do such a thing. Nevertheless, Sita wanted to walk inside the fire. While she walks, it is Agni, the same Agni who stood right before Sita's father Janak during her marriage, comes forth, catches Sita by her hand and submits to Ram, saying that it is not me, Agni, fire, who has burnt her. It is indeed her purity which is burning me. Well, this is Agni Pariksha for the world. Now, when he says Samaksham Agnehe Samsthapya, what does the father of Sita mean? He says, Hey Agni, I may not be there to prove the purity of my daughter, but you will have to be in my position and help my daughter out. Now comes the center or the pinnacle of Balakand, which is a beautiful shlok. Iyam Sita, Mama Suta, Sahadharma Charitava, Praticha Chainam Badramte, Parnim, Grinhishva Parnina. What a beautiful shlok it is. Now, to visualize this particular verse, we need to get into the commentary of another great person who lived 800 years back. He has written a 20-page commentary on this particular verse. I am not speaking about 100 verses, I am not speaking about 50, I am not speaking about 25, I am not speaking about 20, not 10, not 5, not 4, not 3, not 2. It's just about one verse about which there is a beautiful commentary. Well, the commentary may go for 20 pages. Now considering the very fact in this particular point of time, alpascha kalo bahavascha vignaha. The time is very little, but the hurdles are many. Considering these constraints, I need to optimize, saying that however big be the commentary, I shall give you all the crux of the commentary in the form of a dialogue, in the form of a sambadam, a vartalap. Now, Janak says to Ram, Iyam Sita Mama Suta Sahadharma Charitava Praticha Chainam Bhadram Te Parnim Grinhishva Parnina. Well, the commentator has beautifully elucidated the meaning of this particular verse in the form of a dialogue. Let's see how the tone and tenor of this dialogue goes. It seems Janak, the prospective father-in-law, looked at the prospective son-in-law Ram and said, "Hey Ram, you look too handsome." Who's not going to take such a beautiful comment in the right way? Ram lifted up his collar and said, "Yes, I am. People say I am handsome. Now, do you have a verse to support this, my prospective father-in-law?" Chandrakantananam Ramam Ativa Priyadarshanam Rupa Audarya Gunaihi Pumsam Drishtichitta Apaharinam. Chandrakantananam Ramam, Chandra, moon, Kantam, the nectar-line rays of the moon, Ananam, face. Chandrakanta Ananam. Chandrakantananam Ram. Hey Ram, your face looks like the beautifully risen full moon. Because nobody would say your face is like the sun. Because sun is hot. Nobody can see the sun in the entirety. They would always say your face looks like the moon. So Chandrakantananam Ramam. Because the word Ram in Sanskrit itself means Ramayati iti Ramaha. That name which brings sweetness to the person who recites it, who says it, is Ram. So Ram himself is sweet-like, and his face is even more sweet-like, because it is believed in Sanatana Dharma that there is a liquid, or there is a portion called as nectar, ambrosia, called as Amrit. Amrita Kalasham was brought by Vishnu in his incarnation of Dhanvantri from the churning of the Milky Ocean. While it was given to the Devas, the rest of it was kept under the custody of Devendra. If people will have the opportunity to go through the first Parva of Mahabharata, called as Adi Parva, there it has been mentioned that Indra had taken so much of care to bring protection to this jar of ambrosia called as Amrit. And the rest of Amrit is said is lying in the moon. So whenever people look at the moon and feel his rays, they say his rays are filled with Amrit, that is nectar or ambrosia. And all the more, Chandra, moon, is regarded as an incarnation of the Lord's manas, mind. That is why Vedas say Chandrama manaso jataha. That is why Chandra is regarded as the incarnation of the Lord's mind. All the more, it is regarded that the pearl necklace that the Lord sports is representative of the whiteness, the purity, the clarity, which moon represents. Chandriko Daraharam. Now, when so much is said about Chandra, so much of importance and significance is surmounted on Chandra, what to speak of the Lord whose face itself is like Chandra? Chandrakantananam Ramam Ativa Priyadarshanam. Very handsome. He goes beyond the expression of words and mind. It's called as Vachama Gocharam. So, Ativa Priyadarshanam Rupa Audarya Gunaihi Pumsam. By his form and character, it seems he takes away the mind of the men. This is quite alarming for us. Ram has to impress the woman. Why is he impressing the men? Well, this could be a $1,000,000 question. But all of it cannot be answered in this episode. Wait for the next. Thank you.